This was another first for St. Lucia's Parliament. Never before had a leader of the opposition turned down the offer to speak over when in the lineup of speakers he should make his contribution. According to the leader of the opposition, he should be allowed to speak not immediately following the Prime Minister's presentation, making him the first of the speakers of the blocks, but rather after all the other members of Parliament had spoken. He cited convention to support his position.
Traditionally what happens is the leader of government businesses of both sides would meet, and if they want to, is to agree on a schedule for speaking. That was attempted. And I was told very clearly at the meeting that I was supposed to speak first. I said, well, I'm not going to be speaking first. And I said, well, if that's the case, that there might be shutting down the debate and I would not be given a chance to speak. I said, well, that's your prerogative, but at the end of the day, it would be shocking to me that a government that is presenting a budget at this particular time would not want to tell the people what they're doing. But I said, I will take my chances. And so yesterday, on several occasions, the government, very immaturely, were attempting to bully me and to bully Bradley into speaking by threatening to shut down the debate. I mean, this is crazy. We're all adults in the room.
So when do you want to speak exactly? Let's just make when would you like to make your presentation?
Ideally, I would like to be able to speak after all of the MPs have spoken. And so it would mean that after me would be the Prime Minister who would give his rebuttal.
The leader of government business in the House, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, says the leader of the opposition is seeking to break with convention and is attempting to dictate the proceedings of the House.
Leader of the opposition, for some reason, believes that he should speak when he wants to speak. We've made it very clear to him that we do not want him to speak last. We believe he should speak, within a reasonable time after some of us have spoken. We said to him, in his case, the leader of the opposition responds to the Prime Minister, so he should be the first one to speak. It had been done for 5 years and done even before that. But he insists that he will not speak to answer like is normally done, and he will choose when he comes in to speak. So his view was, you all go ahead and speak, and I will decide when I speak. And we told him that cannot happen. It really cannot happen. The practice is he responds to the Minister of Finance, and in the case of his other member, he will speak sometime during the debate, but not at the end of the debate.
The leader of the opposition argues that given the government's overwhelming majority, he should be offered the courtesy of speaking after all of the other parliamentarians, save for the Prime Minister's rebuttal.
Each leader of the opposition, I assume, is able to make and decide for himself when he wants to be able to speak. If you go back in the past, leaders of the oppositions have always spoken last. And that makes sense to me. You want to hear all the debates, and it gives the leader of the opposition an opportunity to rebut. And then the Prime Minister would come afterwards, and if he wants to address any of the issues that the leader of the opposition has brought up. I think even more so now that we only have two persons in the House, that I think I should be given that opportunity.
Dr. Ernest Hilaire says as the leader of government business in the House, he is willing to accommodate the leader of the opposition, but to a limited extent. The former Prime Minister, Allen Chastanet, he says, must be made to understand that he is no longer in a position to effectively call the shots in the House of Assembly.
He seemed to be of the view that he can choose when he wants to, and he doesn't need to respond to the Prime Minister. I end up having to be the one to speak first yesterday, and he still has not spoken. And we're trying to be very gracious, very accommodating. But of course, we're going to keep saying to him, he cannot decide to speak whenever he wants. Because you can't say you want to accommodate, you want to discuss, and your position is, I would like to speak whenever I want. It doesn't work that way. He wants to rebut to everybody. But he's not Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, according to the standing orders, is the one who does the rebuttal at the end. He wants to do it. Can somebody just explain to him the standing orders for me, please? Just explain the practices to him.
The Speaker of the House of Assembly presides over the proceedings. He says, according to tradition, the leader of the opposition speaks immediately following the presentation of the Minister of Finance.
In the more recent past 10-15 years, it has been traditional for the spokesperson on finance in the opposition, because it doesn't necessarily have to be the leader of the opposition, to respond as the first speaker following the mover of the motion, who is the finance minister.
Speaker Francis made it clear that no one dictates the order of the speakers.
There is nobody in the House, including the speaker, who can dictate when somebody speaks. I don't want to try to interpret what the leader of government business suggested, but the only thing I can think of is if there is a stalemate where nobody puts on the lights, clearly the House cannot sit indefinitely waiting for somebody to speak. The speaker would then have to intervene and put the question and end the debate. So it may be that's what he's alluding to.
In the end, the leader of the opposition opted not to make his contribution to the debate, denying the House and the public the opportunity to get his detailed response to the 2022-2023 budget of revenue and expenditure. Stanley Lucien for the HCS News Force.